Hello, and welcome to the HP Podcast, episode number 274. I'm Ben, and with me today are the sweatpants-wearing gentlemen. Hello, Dave. Dave, you're the one who brought it to our attention that we were all wearing sweatpants. I appreciate that. It's good to be unified.
I agree. I think we should make this a weekly thing.
Yeah,
they're comfy. And
it's been a weekly thing for me for... How long have we been doing the show remotely? That long.
I was gonna say, what the fuck have you guys been doing?
Brandon wears shorts sometimes, I think.
Occasionally, but
Yeah, I'll wear shorts sometimes too. Yeah.
But I think we should be unified on the gray sweatpants.
No, black.
What did you
black.
call them? Homeschool?
Yeah, homeschool sweatpants. Yeah.
We should brand them like handsome phantoms.
handsome phantoms. Merch dropping soon.
Yeah.
You're gonna have me. Next thing I know, you're gonna try to get me to sell flip flops or something. I'm not gonna do it.
That'd be cool.
We'll convert you.
Brandon,
Yes.
the fan of both flip flops and homeschool sweatpants.
Yes.
What's up?
I'm a fan of all clothing, Ben. I'm not a hater like you. I don't.
It's just those two items. It really is. It's just those two items.
I'm doing all right today, Ben. I'm as good as I can be.
Brandon, you're wearing your PSX 2015 t-shirts.
Represent.
Some primo right there. I've never seen you wear that shirt before. And I've known you since about a month after that. Maybe a little bit before that show.
Yeah, I'm reclaiming a lot of my clothing that has just been packed away.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
it's
that's
been a
good.
fun experience, and I'm even wearing like I'm not as successful because this thing was like large when I got it, but I have some high school clothes that I just never threw away, and they're a little tight, but like I'm just wearing them around the house, and man, is it bringing back some fucking memories just wearing some of these band t-shirts. I would never wear them out because, like I said, they're a little bit tighter than I like to wear my shirts.
Yeah,
they fit by many standards. I just look like a European man. But
you need to get some sweatpants with the zippers on the like halfway down the leg.
True.
Then you'd be really European. Yeah,
I know. And my sleeves are like most of the way up my arm.
Yeah.
But no, it's been good, man. It's been good. And I got this swag. Like this is legitimately amazing. This was the first year we went.
Yeah.
And
well, there were only 2 more years after that.
Yeah. One of the last couple years for the event altogether, and I have some other merch, but nothing is like as solidifying and like proof as this thing. And I would imagine this is pretty fucking rare.
It's a unique shirt too, because like you don't see that many different opposing heavy hitters on one shirt. So you've got like EA, Capcom, Sony first party, Bungie, and Activision all on one shirt. Usually you just have one, but that's I don't know. That's special. It's kind of making me uncomfortable, but it's still pretty cool. And you're right. It probably is super rare.
Yeah, they did it different back in 2015. It was a different Sony back then.
Well, PSX, if I am correct on this, PSX went from 2014 to 2017. So the first year was in Vegas, I want to say, then San Francisco, and then the last 3 years of it was in Anaheim. If I'm not incorrect, I'm not looking it up.
I think it's staggered. I think it was Anaheim, San Francisco, and then Anaheim again. Because
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we went the last 3 years, I think. Unless Radek's going to correct me in chat.
He did say someone was correct. I'm not sure. I turned on the ultra low latency mode for YouTube Live so that we have quicker interactions. But the reality is we don't actually want to interact with the listeners. So joke's on you guys. No, I'm just kidding. We love interacting with you guys. We appreciate you hanging out here every Tuesday night, live at 7 on YouTube, at Handsome Phantom channel, on Ben's Handsome YT. You can also check us out on patreon.com. We appreciate you guys being there. Patreon.com/handsomephantom. I lost my train of thought entirely. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. That's $1 a month. We appreciate that. It helps us pay the bills. It makes us know people like us. That's really what's important. Like the paying the bills part, like we can probably handle that. But knowing people like us, that's more valuable. I'm going to be honest with you. You can do from $1 to $5. Honestly, you could do $10 million a month. You just won't get anything past the $5 level. So, sorry. If you want to hang out with us on Discord, you can do that too. HantofPhantom.com/Discord. That's where we all hang out. That's where we show off weird pictures of somebody. Boy was posting like censored feet. I was a little worried that he like got the wrong chat and was going to copy and paste the wrong thing at some point. I don't know. Am I super loud? Dave is typing, is Ben super loud? Am I super loud? Chat. Am I super loud?
It sounds normal to me.
I guess
Talk, Dave.
I put that in the private chat, to keep that in between us. A little inside.
Yeah, I
baseball, but you just throw it out there. So
well, I don't know if I'm super loud, so I don't know if I should turn myself down or not.
Okay, it's just a me problem then.
I'm fine.
Yeah, there's a cat.
Hey, there is a cat.
Tim, oh my
god.
Segue.
Yeah, everybody ignore the fact that we're talking about technical stuff and just think about the cat. It's fine. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We appreciate it. Benji Bop 4 minutes ago said, "How quick is this interaction?" I saw it, but I didn't respond because I was on a sentence and I can't do two things at once. So it was pretty. I don't know how quick it was actually, but we appreciate it. And then he says, "Ben is a little hot, but nothing crazy." I'd like to think I'm crazy hot.
He's a little handsome.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's get into the news, guys. Why do you guys make me do this whole... Oh, let's do bullshit comedy at the beginning of the show. Come on, let's just talk about that.
It's 10 minutes of repartee, Ben. It's got to do it.
Cut to the chase.
Number one. I got to pull up the little banner thing. I'm all messed up right now. Embracer Group is dividing itself into three separate... Brandon? Brandon,
I did it on purpose that time. I'm sorry. I actually did it on purpose.
For those who don't know, and a lot of people do, Brandon likes to highlight the thing I'm reading as I'm reading it in the Google Doc to intentionally throw me off.
No, I do that when I'm reading something online.
Oh,
that's
okay.
how it started, but now I'm doing it to aggravate you.
Okay,
that's fair. We should do the Ron Burgundy and see what he will and won't read.
Embracer Group is dividing itself into three separate companies: Asmodee Group, Coffee Stain and Friends, and Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends. The decision aims to enable each entity to focus on its core strategies and offer distinct equity stories for shareholders. Embracer's CEO, Lars Wingefors, sees this move as reinforcing the company's commitment to supporting entrepreneurs and creators in delivering memorable experiences for gamers worldwide. The restructure follows Embracer's aggressive actions since missing out on a $2 billion partnership last year, including shutting down projects, selling studios, and laying off AAA game development and IPs like Tomb Raider and Lord of the Rings. Asmodee Group, dedicated to tabletop games, and Coffee Stain and Friends, specializing in indie and mid-market games. Each company will have its own leadership and strategic direction. Wingefors emphasized his continued involvement as a shareholder in all three entities, just in case you were worried about his financial standing, marking the beginning of a new chapter for Embracer. Boys, it feels like we've talked about Embracer 3 out of 4 shows for the last 18 months, probably. But this is kind of I don't know if this is actually a big deal as far as the output we're going to see from them. But as far as the gaming industry goes and the behind-the-scenes stuff, this is a little bit more of a big deal because it basically means we can totally bankrupt one of these while not having to fire Chapter 11 for all of them. That's kind of how I'm reading it. Also, yeah, you get more shareholders, you get more stakes, you're diversifying, whatever. But Dave, I wanted to pitch this to you. What do you think? What do you think about Embracer chopping the head off the snake and growing 3 more?
Yeah, I see your point. When I read this and found out about what direction Embracer was going in, I really thought of it in a bit of a different light. But a couple of weeks ago, as you said, we've been talking about Embracer quite a bit, and we discussed how Embracer was starting to develop kind of a villain personality within the industry, just with the amount of studios they were gobbling up. They were backed by Saudi money, et cetera, et cetera. But I think this new strategy of sort of lurking in the shadows behind 3 other sort of figureheads, and then they've tacked on the words "and friends" on 2 of them, which I think is a bit on the nose. But I think the strategy there is maybe could serve into the purpose of them not being such a villain or seen as such a villain in the industry. And again, kind of playing into the fact that I think this is a good thing. I have to give Embracer credit, because this to me feels like a step in the right direction. I think by compartmentalizing these, their video gaming operations into 3 separate silos, which silos can be a good thing if they make sense, then I think it gives Coffee Stain an opportunity to just kind of focus on things that they're good at, which is a lot of stuff that we love. Somebody mentioned Goat Simulator. Deep Rock Galactic is a big one. I think this is showing that Embracer is moving away from its aggressive strategy and trying to move forward as a genuine creator of video games. So I don't know. I think the net result of this, blown deal with the Saudi money is a net positive for me, because one, Gearbox escaped and Coffee Stain has survived. So I think this is a good move. Obviously, time will tell. And Embracer has things like Tomb Raider sitting on ice at the moment, and Lord of the Rings, which we've seen is a great IP when done correctly in video games. So I hope this works out, but I do honestly think that this can be seen as a step in the right direction. But again, time will tell. So
every game Embracer as a large entity puts out is dead to me until they remake Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. One of the all-time greats. Brandon, how do you see this this working out as far as Embracer splitting up? Is it going to be better for each individual silo, or is it just going to allow them to gobble up even more stuff without becoming too gigantic?
No, I tend to actually agree with Dave here. I think that as we see, the entire industry has kind of plateaued, and we're seeing a lot of companies kind of take steps back. We're seeing companies like Tencent dissolve some stuff. I think of the two options, this is the best option. Does that mean that all 3 pillars are going to survive? Not necessarily, but this gives each one a better standing chance than being part of an entire huge entity, where like you mean less when you're a part of a huge entity. When you're a part of a smaller thing, you're more meaningful to that thing and less to the whole if you're in a big one, if that makes sense. So I do think this is good. I don't like the company in general, but I do think this is a step in the right direction. I don't like the end friends. That feels kind of like condescending a little bit. You're not friends. You never fire your friend. At least any of my friends. But yeah, I think this is the best of all outcomes here. So
yeah, I tend to agree. You guys are probably right. My mind just goes a little more cynical, like when was it Netty? No, who was it? Tencent, when they created the offshoot gaming company. What was it called? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
I can't remember the name of them. But it was like, next level? No. I don't remember. Somebody in chat will say it, but when they created the like sub company and just started putting out all their games under that name, and so we started seeing them at the Game Awards, and it was like
ByteDance?
No, it wasn't ByteDance. Anyway, it just kind of, if I see a game that's put out by, what's one of the company, Coffee Stain and Friends, that connotes something much different to me than Embracer Group.
Exactly.
So I think you might be right that the long-term actual effects of this are good. It just doesn't seem like it's purely good motives, I guess. But their motives are whatever makes the company the most money. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. But I mean, a AAA gaming studio is managed much differently than an independent. And it's probably managed, I don't know much about tabletop, but I'm sure that's a completely different, set of tactics and strategies too. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they're setting themselves up for success here. So it's again, I'm just happy that Coffee Stain survived and Deep Rock Galactic, which easily could have been a victim of this, isn't. So
yeah. I gotta look here. I gotta see. I'm not seeing the name of the company. Not quickly, at least. It's not that important. I just know that there's there's another group. Maybe it's not Tencent. Maybe it is NetEase. See, this is what happens. They suck you in. Now I gotta find out. It is vitally important, according to chat. NetEase. Okay. All right.
Skybound?
No. It is.
We talked about them last week.
I don't know. I can't find it. It's gonna have to wait till some other time when I think of it.
I am surprised nobody in chat has found this yet.
They're all idiots.
They're normally pretty quick.
Jesus.
Oh. It was like all over the Game Awards. Like everything was like presented by blank blank. And it was like, that's actually China. Chinese, not China. Let's move on to number 2. I know Radix going to chime in on this one. Sony has announced that Little Big Planet 3 servers on PlayStation 4 will remain offline indefinitely due to ongoing technical issues. This decision means millions of user-generated levels will no longer be accessible to new players. While creation content stored locally can still be accessed, players won't have access to the vast ocean of player-generated content. This move follows a similar shutdown of servers for Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation 3 in 2021. With no official way to access content created since the game's launch in 2014, it's a significant loss for the community. Now, Brandon, I'm not foolish enough to think that there were still like millions of people playing this game on PS4. But there were some. And there are many people who in the future are going to pick it up in a bundle that they buy from their friend when they get it used, whatever. And so much of the charm with Little Big Planet 3 was the user-generated content.
Absolutely.
And I get it. They can't afford to keep the servers up forever. But that's not the problem here. The problem is they just couldn't figure out how to fix it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I kind of feel like that's bullshit. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that's a really convenient way to like displace the blame almost a little bit. You're absolutely right. I'm a really big fan of Little Big Planet, and to imagine the game vanilla is, its own experience, but really the game shines through the creation of the, brilliant individuals that put hundreds of hours into making levels. So I don't know. I personally think it's kind of bullshit. Like, I don't really believe that 100%. And I know, so if you could play this on PS4, then you could probably play it on PS5 too, right?
Yeah.
So
well, it's the PS4 version just running.
Right.
On PS5,
No. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It really goes to show that like we've talked a couple times about this series, and they really have stopped showing it love and are continuing to show that time and time again. Like, it's really sad because back when, Little Big Planet 1 and 2 came out, those were some great games. And then slowly over time, they kind of were forgotten about. So, yeah, it's definitely sad to see.
Now, Dave, you're already Mr. Digital, so you hate physical preservation, as we all know that, of course. That's an undeniable fact. How do you feel about this?
I'm wondering if this technical issue that Sony's come up against is specific to games where it's centered around user-generated content. And if so, the first thing that came to mind was Dreams. Because, I mean, if that is the crux of the issue, then Dreams is ultimately going to have that issue at some point. I also kind of wonder if this inherent issue is what drove them to have Sackboy's Big Adventure be like a single player platformer with none of the creation mechanics that Little Big Planet always had. I always found that really odd that PlayStation 5's like Little Big Planet game had nothing to do with Little Big Planet apart from just the platforming part. So I don't know. I can understand it might be difficult to kind of forecast how much server capacity you're actually going to need when it's user generated content. Like, you have no idea how much people are going to create, even if a lot of people have logged off. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious if that kind of is what caused the issue here. Cause I mean, if it happened to Little Big Planet 1 and 2, then it seems to be a common issue across the entire franchise. Mm-hmm. It is important to note that if you created your own content, you can still access it locally. So like if you made stuff and you've got it saved on your PS4 or your PS3, like it's still there. But the whole point of making content was sharing it with other people and having people, I think you could rate it and you could see how many times people downloaded it and cleared it and stuff like that. So I don't know. this is sad stuff, but I think maybe this is kind of going to be a word of warning, or the next time Sony parades out this idea of, a sea of endless player generated content, maybe, it's not going to be endless. It's probably going to have an end at some point, right?
It's finite. I think the best option here, and this would never happen, this is more of like a PC minded thing, is if they somehow opened it up that you could import levels and the people could upload them and you could download them onto a flash drive. That's something that would never happen, but it just reminds me of how, like, on Rock Band, Dustin was getting songs from the internet. Like, if you could store them locally, like you can get those files somehow. Sony's not one to do that sort of thing. Yeah. I get that, but like I feel like that's the best alternative for this. If you're going to offer no other solution, at least do that.
Well, what Dustin was doing was getting songs that were never made in Rock Band. So like
they were in the same a format the game recognized. Though.
Correct. Yeah. The people like took those songs, made the game for them. Yeah. Right. So like those were never made for the game. Those were like bootleg. They weren't like games that were made and he just didn't want to buy them. They were, yeah. So they were unofficial.
I guess what I'm saying though is if that's a possibility, then what I'm describing could potentially be a possibility. So.
It could be, yeah. One thing to note, and this is something I was going to say, is Sailor in chat says people were claiming their PSN accounts were getting banned for interacting with Little Big Planet 3 hack stuff. That is one of the big things that I remember from 3 or 4 years ago. Well, I guess it was like 3 years ago, when the other Little Big Planet servers were taken down, is that a lot of it was getting hacked and manipulated, and stuff was happening to people's accounts with those ones. And that's when they finally pulled it, and they were basically at this also like, it's just not worth it for this to keep happening. So I'm assuming there's some flaw in their code that allows malicious folks to get in there and mess with stuff, but maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Also, the most important thing, Radix says, I think level infinite is the Tencent thing you were thinking of. He is correct. That is 100% accurate. It is level infinite. It's actually Tencent. Radic also says, if the next Media Molecule game has the same reception as Dreams, it's over for them. I don't even understand, other than winning a BAFTA, how they made it after Dreams, but they did get their staff shaved down a little bit. Pause. But yeah, it's not good. I just wish that, this is one of those games where it's like the game is the user generated content. Like you said, it's like when people used to buy Call of Duty. Well, people still buy Call of Duty. When people buy Call of Duty, most people, like something like 98% of people, buy it for the multiplayer. There are people who buy it only for the campaign. They play the campaign, and it's over for them, and that's fine. But, when Call of Duty servers go down, it's the same thing. Now, granted, there's a new Call of Duty game every year to back that up, but Little Big Planet, I don't think we're seeing anymore anytime soon. Let's go on to number 3. Another ending, kind of, maybe. According to well-known Ubisoft leaker Jonathan, the Watch Dogs series appears to be seemingly done due to Watch Dog Legion's underwhelming sales, leading to the cancellation of multiple projects, including a battle royale game. Despite being one of Ubisoft's most commercially successful franchises, Legion's performance fell short of expectations. As a result, Ubisoft has shelved several games, including Project Q, and a sequel to Immortals Phoenix Rising. However, long-awaited titles like Beyond Good and Evil 2 and the Prince of Persia remake have yet to be canceled, even though we haven't heard anything about them in forever. Ubisoft's upcoming lineup includes Assassin's Creed, with nearly a dozen games reportedly in development, along with projects like Star Wars Outlaws and X-Defiant, although none have confirmed release dates. Star Wars Outlaws is expected to launch before March 31st of next year. Wait a minute. Didn't Star Wars Outlaws get a date? Did I read an old news source?
It's in August.
Okay.
End of August.
We'll forget that. Anyway, Star Wars Outlaws still going forward. X-Defiant, been a mess so far, but it's still going forward. Good and Evil 2? Who knows?
That shit ain't happening.
Anyway, Dave, Watch Dogs. I don't remember if you've ever played this game. I think Brandon has, though. No, he hasn't either. Okay. Pretty crazy that one game can kind of change so many things with such a giant studio and publisher.
I'm surprised we even got a third game. It's such a weird scenario because Watch Dogs 1 was so hyped, and now we know it was overhyped. And Watch Dogs 2 came out, and it was actually really, really good. So, but the problem is it didn't really it was received well, but it just didn't seem to do all that well. I don't feel like people bought it. I did look it up, and Ubisoft hasn't shared exact numbers, but for both Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2, it's reported that they both sold over 10 million copies each, which is successful. But I'm quite certain that the majority of Watch Dogs sales were launch-ish sales, i.e. full price, whereas Watch Dogs 2 sales were mostly at a discount, I assume. So I don't think that Watch Dogs 2 really sold that well at launch, and that's why I was surprised that we got Watch Dogs Legion. And I was also surprised that Watch Dogs Legion was as ambitious as it was. You have to give Ubisoft credit for what they tried to do with Watch Dogs Legion, because this was not an easy game to make with all of you can control any NPC in the game, and they all have different abilities and different personalities and stuff like that. Like, that's something that developers don't do on a regular basis just because of how difficult it is to do. So got to give them credit. Also have to give Ubisoft credit because they've shown time and time again that they're not willing to dump a franchise after one failure. So, I mean, if they had done it, we wouldn't have the Assassin's Creed franchise because the first one was not good. Watch Dogs, same things. They took 2 additional shots, but yeah, I don't know. It's an odd situation that we even got a third one. I really kind of wish that we would have just gotten like a Watch Dogs 2 Part 2, because the characters in that game were great. San Francisco was awesome. Like, they just righted every wrong from the original game. So yeah, really not a surprise that this is probably the end of the Watch Dogs franchise. I'm really glad we didn't get this reported battle royale, because that would have been even worse. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad, but again, really, really not surprising. So yeah, I mean, this is what it is. I'm not sad I never played Legion, but yeah.
Yeah. Brandon, what are your thoughts on Watch Dogs their sales being so detrimental to other projects, apparently?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily buy into that. I think it's just a convenient way to lump a bunch of things together and kind of cut once and make it deep instead of cutting many times over a long period of time. I always looked at the Watch Dogs series as something I would be interested in, and I've heard great things about it, specifically with 2, as Dave mentioned. Legion didn't really grab me as much. It felt kind of all over the place, but a couple of these other titles are interesting. Phoenix Rising, I've heard people talk highly of that, but I always thought it was kind of ham-fisted in a lot of ways, at least what I saw of it. And Beyond Good and Evil just seems like it's in hell, and I genuinely think we're never getting that game.
I think Dustin, when we were doing videos for Handsome Phantom, I think in like 2017, he made a video called "What's Going On with Beyond Good and Evil 2," and that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. I can't imagine this is coming out. As far as games like X Defiant, like we talked a while back, like how that was delayed indefinitely, and I'm genuinely surprised they're still giving it a go, especially with how all over the place Call of Duty seems to be.
Yeah.
I really thought they were going to try and sneak in and kind of fill a hole that was missing in the hearts of Call of Duty players. But as time went on and we tried it, it really just feels like more copy paste. So yeah, I don't know.
And X Defiant seems big budget.
It does.
Which is just as good of a reason to cancel it as it is to not cancel it, honestly.
Right. And we've seen how completely how big of a gamble these shooters can be, especially when they're compared to some of the gold standards of the industry, if you want to call it that. But I don't know, man. Ubisoft is in a weird spot. I feel like at some point we're probably going to be talking this way about Assassin's Creed if the quality doesn't continue to stay up. Like, I feel like it's going to get so big, it's going to plateau, and that's kind of what happens to some of these series. Yeah, I just hope Outlaws is good. I talked a little bit of shit last week, but like for Ubisoft, as much as I, talk however I do about them, it's just you want to see them win because they have good IP, they have talented people in their studios,
and a lot of
the games aren't for me. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 20,000-ish people. I mean, maybe a little bit less now because they did some layoffs, but yeah, you want them to do well just for the sake of those people's lives, honestly.
Right.
Let alone the gaming industry, because they are a huge part of it.
And moreover, Dave.
And Dave would be just absolutely destroyed and devastated if Ubisoft went down
X Defiant just had a server test session this past weekend, so
yes.
I think it's imminent.
I saw Shroud playing that. I didn't watch, but yeah, I guess it is happening. I really genuinely thought that was dead. Like, I thought they were for sure going to kill it. I am surprised.
No,
we haven't talked about that game forever, and we haven't played it since that very first server test or beta or whatever it was, whatever they call it, alpha. My problem with that game was that I was bad, and I'm not bad at shooters in general. I'm not cracked by any means, but like I can usually hold my own. And that game, the sweats infiltrated it immediately. I was done for day one.
It's a sweaty game. Like, that's the whole shtick. Yeah, that's like the entire shtick.
I could see that being a very good competitive game, honestly.
Yeah,
for sure. Number 4, Helldivers 2's developers are steering clear of the paths blazed by Fortnite and Call of Duty in order to maintain the game's identity. The topic of collaborations arose when fans inquired about new melee weapons, with the developers indicating cautious consideration to ensure they align with Helldivers 2's themes. Unlike Fortnite, which has expanded its roster with characters like Goku and Spider-Man, Helldivers 2, man, I'm all messed up now, aims to avoid drastic changes and major crossovers. The team values the game's core features like friendly fire and wants to preserve its identity amidst updates and future developments. I also saw another thing literally right before we went live that said, like, all we want is to make the game the most fun game it can be.
Right.
So,
well, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, imagine that, and make like a butt ton of money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, Brandon, I don't, crossovers. Maybe you're tired of them, maybe you aren't. It's clear that they make money. I think this is a pretty bold statement to be like, yeah, we could put, I don't know, Master Chief's armor in here if we wanted to, if they could get the deal with Xbox and PlayStation. But that's a different story. They could do almost anything with however many million copies they've sold, and they'll make a ton of money. But I kind of respect that they don't want to.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for strengthening your own brand. And I feel like although Fortnite is great and it's a unique thing, and things like Roblox are unique because, you can make whatever you want and there can be all kinds of IP, you really get a more meaningful game, a more meaningful, I don't know how to describe it. You really strengthen the brand. Like, you genuinely strengthen the brand when you don't dilute it. And I know that's kind of a negative way to look at something like Fortnite, is that they're diluting themselves by putting other IP in there, because I think it's fun and I don't want to be a naysayer of that. But I think this is a good thing, because you're right. They probably could just have a quick cash grab. They put Kratos in the fucking game. I don't know, or like the Leviathan axe, sure, that would be cool, right? Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool, but it doesn't need that. And I think they realize that, and they could put a lot of things to just make a quick buck in this game. They could put many, many things, and they've made the right decision every single time. And that's why I have such a great respect for the team at Arrowhead, because they have cash in front of them, like easy cash, and they're choosing to make the game better. And my bet is that people will remember how much fun you had with this game longer than being able to play as Master Chief or Kratos in Fortnite. And that's just my bet. I don't think they need to dilute it. It has a strong enough standing, and everything they have going for it's wonderful. So,
Dave, do you have any thoughts? And also, in chat, they say that now because they're on top. As soon as they start to lose players, they won't think twice about doing crossovers. Do you buy into that cynicism, Dave?
I understand where it's coming from, but I kind of get the feeling that Arrowhead is beating their own drum here, which is good. And I hope they don't sell out, and I hope they just continue to focus on what made this game a sleeper smash hit of 2024, which is just good, clean co-op fun. But at the end of the day, I mean, you said it right off the top, Ben. people buy these things, they make money. So if it did happen, I wouldn't be surprised, but I really hope it doesn't, because there's nothing more that I hate than jumping into Call of Duty 6 months after launch and like fucking I'm playing Vanguard, which is, World War II, and the guy from Scream is in my lobby, and Megan Thee Stallion is there too for some reason. Like, there's nothing more immersion breaking. Like, the one thing I will argue is, to me, Fortnite, and again, granted, this isn't a game that I've spent a whole time with, but to me, Fortnite's identity, its brand, is all of those crossovers. Like, I think to me, that's just part of Fortnite. But there are other examples where it doesn't fit, like Call of Duty. And I think Helldivers is it already has its own brand. It already has its own personality. So I really hope they don't go down this route. But I mean, as Alex kind of pointed out there, if it comes down to dollars and cents and it makes sense and people buy it, then you can't avoid it. But let's just enjoy the purity of Helldivers 2 as it is now, because it may not always be that way. Success can be a poison, it can be a curse. So
yeah, man, I just have to say once again, I said at the beginning of this year on this show something along the lines of, I'm worried this game is gonna flop because I didn't see any hype around it, and I've never been more happy to be wrong. Dead wrong. It definitely did not flop. Number 5, Brandon. This one's never mind.
It's launch week, brother.
Shift Up's upcoming game, Stellar Blade, is set to launch soon, but its uncensored release in Japan has sparked criticism of the country's rating system. Despite receiving a 0D, which is 17 plus rating, which typically indicates sexual content and violence, so it did get that rating, Stellar Blade will be released without any censorship. This decision has raised eyebrows due to the game's graphics. Graphic depictions, including gory scenes of violence. Now, Brandon, I want to just reiterate before I'm even done reading this. They're saying that it should have been, because Japan lets anything go unless it's bloody. Okay, all right.
Oh,
the disparity between the game's content and its rating has drawn comparisons to previous cases, such as Dead Space, the new one, which was denied a rating for a similar content. Electronic Arts Japan's general manager has voiced concerns about the inconsistency of Japan's ratings process, highlighting the need for clear guidelines and transparency. Brandon, we will start with you. Sure. Because, as I mentioned last week, when I was at your house, the most recent screenshot on your PlayStation was of Eve's backside.
Sure.
But this doesn't seem to necessarily be about Eve's backside. It seems to be more about the violence and the gore. And Japan says no to a lot of games entirely. Not just you got to censor that out. Just no, you can't release that here. But this one, dodged a bullet. How?
Yeah, I mean, see, I think this is the difference between the East and the West, is that they're focusing on the right reasons to not get it in people's hands. Like, if they don't want the violence, fine. But we're arguing about the wrong things over here in America as far as this game goes. I do think that it probably is bad to have an inconsistency as far as your ratings go. I'm sure that it does help parents decide what they're going to buy for their children. As far as like not offering it at all in your country, I think that's kind of extreme. By any means, for any game, I think that things should be offered, even if they are behind gates, which require you to verify age or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I actually tend to agree with the rating system here. I mean, like, if there is inconsistencies, like, at least be consistent. Even if I don't agree with it and it's unfair, like, be consistent. I want this in Japan as much as everyone else. And there would probably be outcry. There might be people raging in the streets. This is that type of game, dude. Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting story for sure. And I guess I don't quite know how to feel about it.
Dave, how do you feel about it?
Is this a case of the Japanese ratings board going a little bit easy on Sony because it's Sony? I don't know if that's the case here, but
definitely not. I don't think so.
This caught me a bit off guard because as soon as we're talking about ratings and Stellar Blade, go ahead.
I want to just say, I think this game would have been rated 17 plus. That's like the high. I mean, other than like adults only or whatever. It's not a matter of what the rating is. It's a matter that, like Dead Space wasn't even allowed to release because it was too gory.
Right.
Whereas, and it has, I don't think that has to do with the ratings board itself. Yeah, I could be totally wrong there, but
yeah, I mean, clearly the system needs to be remedied because that is an objective inconsistency. But I played the demo and I didn't really find it gory. Like I wouldn't put it. I don't understand the comparison between it and Dead Space, and Doom wasn't mentioned, but I would compare Dead Space and Doom, but I didn't really think of Stellar Blade in that light. So I don't know. I guess maybe further on in the game, there's a little bit more on that stuff.
I mean, you stick your blade into a monster and then rip it in half, and its guts go everywhere. It's pretty gory.
It's a monster.
Maybe I missed that part. I guess when I
maybe you should get good, Dave.
When I was thinking about the ratings piece, I assumed it was about something else, not about gore. But then I remembered we're talking about Japanese ratings board, and if it was just the sexual stuff, this would be E for everyone in Japan. But yeah, I mean, clearly this does need to be addressed because you need to be on the same playing field. But I wonder if it does have something to do with Japan and Sony, the big player there, whereas EA is that's basically an American company. So yeah, I don't know, but it needs to be addressed anyways.
Agreed. Yeah. Brandon, are you picking this up day one?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm going to play it. I'm going to buy it, but I just have a lot to play right now still. So I don't know if I'm going to pick it up right away. Dave, does this tickle your fancy?
No.
I remember you saying you didn't really care for the demo.
No, because I have to. I mean, the demo was fine. I thought it looked really great, and the combat felt okay. But I have to play a little game called Nier Automata, Potato later this year. So
why later this year? Why not now? Just do it now.
I'm waiting for it to go on sale, but I might buy it on Switch just so you guys can rip me.
Do you want my copy?
Yeah. So yeah, I think they seem like similar experiences, and I'd rather play Nier, and then maybe I'll try out Stellar Blade later. There used to be a segment on this very show several years ago, where you guys would guess the rating of a game like the week before it came out. Any guesses on where Stellar Blade's going to land on Metacritic, OpenCritic?
I have an unfair advantage because I know people reviewing it, so I can't comment.
I haven't looked at anything. I'm going to give it a 83.
83. I was going to guess low 70s, so I'll say 70 to 75. Just based on the previews and some of the noise I heard around the demo. But we'll see.
Interesting. Dave, first of all, the game was just on sale, and I told you to buy it, and you didn't. But you have an offer in chat.
I wonder who it is.
Gift it to you.
I wonder who it is.
And also, if you can manage to get Gabe to let you into our Steam family, if your computer will run it, somebody in there has it as well. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll try that first. Yeah, little PSA for everyone out there. Steam sharing doesn't work if you're in a different country. So, Gabe is racist.
Yep,
that's the conclusion.
Clearly.
Yep. Well, speaking of racist, let's talk about what we've been playing. I don't know how that works. Brandon, I want you to talk about what you've been playing, but I want you to not just tell us what you've been playing. Tell us about what's happening in your game. Tell us about your build. Tell us about, get into it a little bit.
Right. No,
I'm playing Elden Ring again. Like, tell us.
No, it's just like I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like,
You're already beating a dead horse. You might as well make the horse wear some makeup,
I guess. I ain't kissing it, though. No, I've been playing Elden Ring. I am desperately trying to complete a first playthrough before Stellar Blade comes out. Not that I think I'm going to stop, but I think yesterday I saw on Twitter, Erdtree is 60 days away yesterday, I believe it was. So I'm at a really, really good pace. I'm at the mountaintop of the giants. I'm still being very, very thorough. I probably could have beaten the game easily by now. But I'm really just enjoying what I'm doing here. So I'm in the second half of the mountaintop of the giants that is rather annoying. And I do have a couple pretty difficult sections ahead of me, but in reality, I could probably blitz a lot of those if I really needed to. So I'm just kind of feeling it out right now. I got this week it comes out next week it comes out. Stellar Blade, right?
I thought it was this week.
It's like Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, I'm fucked. There's no way I'm finishing it.
I know reviews
Jesus
drop
Christ.
very imminently.
Okay.
So,
I thought I had another week. I'm not finishing the game, but I'll come back to it.
You said first playthrough. Why did you say first playthrough?
On PC.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On PC. Yeah. I've not completed a playthrough on PC yet. So
gotcha.
I have many on PS5, but
yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. Still doing the Twin Blade build. I've reached the point in the game where like the difficulty is significantly ramping up, and I was incredibly over leveled for the beginning of the game because I was doing almost everything I could get my hands on. And so I was just blitzing it while I was streaming it, like literally hardly paying attention. And now I've reached a point where I actually do have to fucking lock in a little bit. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I fucking love this game. And yeah, I never stop loving this game, truly. I never get tired of it. So
nice. Cool, man. Dave, let's go to you.
Sure. I played quite a bit this week. I played more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, plural. I'm almost finished the campaign. I've been playing quite a bit co-op with a buddy. Still a lot of fun. Still loving this game. I've laughed out loud several times, which is they're fun moments to share with friends. I also jumped back into Skull and Bones. I was craving a quadruple A experience, and where else can you get quadruple A but Skull and Bones?
You have PlayStation Plus right now.
Exactly. So I'm taking full advantage of that. I finished the campaign, so all I was doing was endgame stuff, which I'm happy to report I really, really like. I've never been much of an endgame person, but it seems pretty cool in Skull and Bones. I kind of mentioned before, but it's almost like a Civilization kind of map control thing where all of the different ports in the game are like factories that you can capture. And you have to, once you have a factory that's captured, it will produce for you and make money. And it's the end game currency called Pieces of 8. And it's not as simple as just collecting the currency. You actually have to sail to that port and you have to load it into your ship, and then you have to take it back to a pirate den, but you can't fast travel. And when you have this currency in your inventory, rogues and privateers will spawn in, and it's really, really tense because they're hard ships to take down, and they're really strong. And there was a couple times where I was just trying to get back to a den, and another player started sailing towards me, and I'm like, oh fuck, I have my PvP flag up. So I thought he was coming after me, and then in another direction there's a privateer coming after me, and he was 2 levels above me, and I'm like, I'm fucked. Sure enough, the privateer, which is an NPC, starts to fire on me, and then the other player takes him out. So he saved my ass. It was really, really cool. It was one of those cool moments. So
I mean, there's got to be some kinship there since you guys are the last 2 playing this game.
No, it was full server, man. It was, and that's the other thing. So basically the goal is to control as many of these factories as possible, and you don't just like get them. You have to, every 15 minutes there's a new set of factories that can be taken over, like you can attempt to take them over. And these hostile takeover attempts, they're these PvPvE sessions. So you basically pick one, and it kind of appears like a lobby, and it'll show any other players that are also going to take out that factory or try to claim it. And then you have to sail there, and you have to take out NPCs as well as other players, and whoever survives basically gets the factory. So super tense. I mean, there were some factories that I overtook that nobody else was taking, so it was just me against NPCs. And then there were other cases where there were several other players, and it was really hectic because they're really small little areas that you're fighting in. So yeah, Skull and Bones is still delivering for me. So
nice,
enjoying
Good,
that.
Man.
I'm glad. I do still eventually want to play it. It's still not at the price point I'm willing to pay. I hope that by the time I get to it, you know, there will still be the ability to play it. But maybe if it's too late, they'll do an offline patch or something. Because it seems like, obviously, you know, the PvP is part of it, but it seems like a game that could be played entirely offline if they wanted it to be.
That's the part that concerns me, though, is there's so much that happens in the map that is like 3+ co-op or like PvP stuff. So I got in one day and I just pulled up the chat and I started I just like said afternoon, and I just wanted to see if people were actually going to respond. And people started talking, and then people started doing LFGs and stuff like that. But there's just a lot in the game that you can't do without other people. Like there's this seasonal boss that spawns in, and like I just tried to go after him, and I threw up like a call for help just to see if anybody would join me. Nobody did, but like I had no shot on my own. So but the thing, servers are like 20 ships, so you know, even if the game was virtually dead, as long as there's handfuls of people still playing, you can still do that stuff. But now that I'm in end game and doing stuff with other people, whether it be PvP or co-op, like it is a lot more fun with people. But it can still, you know, the campaign was still a solid 30 hours of good time. So
nice. I would imagine if they're smart, they took some of the servers offline to condense people down and make the servers feel more full. That'd be the smart thing.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about how this game probably needs Game Pass, and I think that's inevitable. And that will really help this game. So yeah, I still having a good time with that. But are you all ready for a rant?
Absolutely.
Ready. I'm fucking ready.
So I get the Call of Duty itch every few months where I want to play Call of Duty, and I own Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 2. So I booted up my PlayStation, and I have Call of Duty. That's an important note on my home bar there. And I knew I needed an update, so I checked for an update, and it said you need this. Please download update. You have to create space because it's 140 gigabytes. I was like, my God, what the fuck is this installing? But I had no choice. It was install it or don't play it. So it was one of those cases where, you know, I put my PlayStation on rest, and I left it for the night and came back to it the next morning. And I was really excited to play Call of Duty because, again, I had the itch and it had been a while, and I booted it up, and, you know, I get the fucking seasonal cutscene, and then I get like 3 different EULAs that I have to scroll to the bottom and then accept them, and then I get like 4 different like battle pass like offers that come up, and dismiss, skip, I don't care, and then another stupid cutscene of story I don't care about, and finally I'm on the Call of Duty launcher. So I'm not at Modern Warfare 2 yet. I'm just at the launcher, and this thing changes every week, so I had to learn how to navigate that again, which now you press L2 and it kind of cycles through like Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, legacy games. So got through that, got to Modern Warfare 2, and I get to Modern Warfare 2 and it says locked. I don't know what was in the 140 gigabytes, but evidently it was everything except what I needed, which was Modern Warfare 2. I assumed that, you know, the game had the ability to see that I only had the right to download Modern Warfare 2, and I only wanted Modern Warfare 2. But when I looked through the files afterwards, what I suspected happened. It downloaded a bunch of files from Modern Warfare 3, which I don't even have. I haven't purchased that game. I don't own it. And it also downloaded Warzone, the latest version of Warzone, which I didn't want. And it did not install anything from Modern Warfare 2, which was really annoying. So yeah, I had to download 3 different multiplayer packs for Modern Warfare 2, and I had to do that all manually. And all in all, it took a long time to get what I needed to play the game that I wanted. I've always felt like for the past several years, Activision has been really good at allowing you to pick and choose what you want to install with Call of Duty games. And, you know, they'll segment things like multiplayer, zombies, co-op, campaign. But for whatever reason, it just, now that they have like Warzone, and they have like, you know, 2 different games kind of running right now with like Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, that I don't know, it was just so much more difficult than I had imagined. And I knew something was up with the 140 gigabytes, but I didn't think that it was going to be fucked up this bad. The worst thing I thought was going to happen was it was going to give me Modern Warfare 2 that I wanted, and Warzone, and a bunch of other shit, but I would have been able to play Modern Warfare 2 the next morning. So yeah. But all that to say, fellas, that I've been playing it for the past few days, and man, I miss Call of Duty. Yeah, it's there's a reason I get the itch for Call of Duty. It's just nothing satisfies, and I've gotten this urge to play Call of Duty before, and I've relented and I've booted up like Halo, and I love me some Halo, but it's just not the same. It's not the same at all.
It's not. It's just not.
No, it's not.
Yeah, rant over.
I just
share that
re-downloaded.
rant. Yeah.
Yeah, I just re-downloaded it, Dave. If you want to play, let me know, brother. Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2. Which I'm allowed to play under my contractual obligation.
It's fair.
You can play Warzone too.
We made that exception, but I haven't bitten. I'm waiting.
I never agreed.
Hey, listen, you said you'd lose respect for me, and I don't care about that. That's all you said would happen.
That's true. That is all I said would happen. I've had the itch to play Warzone a little bit myself, but I remember when we played Warzone 2.0 when it first came out. First of all, it was broken, and second of all, we were getting annihilated within the first 3 hours we were playing, and I don't know. I just lost heart for it.
So that's the...
Give me 6 months, and I'll probably want to play real bad again. So
a lot of people hate skill-based matchmaking, but skill-based matchmaking was made for people like me who just want to hop on and play.
Play with me, Dave.
Even after not playing for several months, like I won a game of free-for-all yesterday, and I never win games like that. It's I know that the sweats and the Twitch streamers and stuff hate skill-based matchmaking because they can't melt people like me, but yeah, it's a game you can jump into, and it's so much fun. The thing I need to remind myself is that I bought 3 Call of Duties in a row, and that's something I swore I would never do, and I don't think I needed to, because Call of Duty games are good for a really long time. Like, if I had only bought Cold War, I'm pretty sure I could jump into Cold War today and pretty quickly find a match. Same thing with Modern Warfare 2 for several years, and Vanguard, which I think I liked the most. I wish I kind of just stuck with that, but in any case, it's I don't know. They're just fun. They're pick up and play for me.
Dave, maybe you and I need to play together, because normally when I'm playing with Brandon and our buddy Justin, and they're both much better than me, so I just get destroyed constantly. So if you and I play together, we can win 2 or 3 games until we never get to play again. So
I'm not the problem. Justin is the problem.
You're part of the problem. Justin dropped the bomb, but you helped work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Call me Oppanussi.
Dave, is that all?
That's all I care to talk about for today.
Does that mean you are playing something else?
I thought,
but you don't have to talk about it. It's fine.
No, I can talk about Wordscapes on my mobile.
I'd prefer you don't.
Yeah. No. No, that's it for me, big fella. It's on to you.
So I've been still playing Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and still enjoying it. I'm like 85 hours in now. A whole bunch of new quests just opened up in areas I've already been to, so now I'm going back and doing all of those instead of moving forward, which, again, I'm very happy to do. I'm not even like chasing a trophy here. I just want to play as much of this game as I can. So enjoying it, having fun.
Sorry, Ben, is any fatigue creeping in with this game?
I don't know. It has to be. No, I don't know that it's fatigue. It's just that I have to be in the right mood to play it.
Copium.
No, it's that it's that whole weird thing of I love the game so much that I want to do everything, but doing everything makes me not progress the story. So not progressing the story makes me not feel like I got to get back to it. It's just like, yeah, this is fun. I get to do it. And right now, like, everything is a mini game. So like last night I hopped in for a couple hours and I was like playing cards. I was doing chocobo races. I was going out and finding different or doing different combat trials. So like, it's even so varied that it feels like multiple different games every time I'm playing. But yeah, I don't want to skip anything. That's the thing, because I know myself. Once I beat the game, once I beat the story, I'm not going to come back to it, at least for a long time. And that's just, I don't want to do that because I love it so much. So
you want more time with Tifa?
Yeah. Dave says no fatigue for me and my 216-hour-long platinum. Wow.
Did you just call Ed Dave?
I don't know what I did. Someone in chat named Ed. Dave left.
You've insulted him beyond belief. Holy shit, he's done.
That was deserved, honestly.
Wow.
Honestly. I wonder if he's going to rejoin.
You did this.
You think he's going to rejoin?
I don't know. There he is. Love the bit. Now
you screwed up the whole thing. You're going to actually make the files harder for me to edit after the show's over because it's going to split it into two. You son of a bitch.
Did the timing work, though?
It did. Yeah. It actually was perfect.
Yeah.
Dave has left the chat.
I'm the bottom now, too. This is different.
Yeah. It'll get
Power bottom.
I'm happy to be a bottom with you, too.
Oh, man.
Sea of Thieves had their Golden Glory weekend last week, which it's probably like a few times a year that it happens, which basically just means like your reputation and gold are doubled on everything. So it happens a couple times a year. Most of the time, I'm not able to play during Golden Glory. I'm either away for the weekend or I'm like busy all weekend or something. And so this weekend I finally was. So pretty much Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, I hopped in with some buddies and played. And one of them was going for a certain goal of getting a certain curse. And so I was helping them out a lot and they were helping me. And so I finally, it's not that big of an accomplishment anymore because you could lost farm it way quicker than I didn't lost farm it. But I got both of the PvP curses in the game that came out about a year ago, probably. I got the other one months ago, but now I have the final one. There are more variations of them that would probably take me another 1,000 hours to get, which I don't have the stamina for. But because my favorite part of that game is the world, the adventure. I don't like just fighting over and over and over and over. I mean, I do like fighting over and over. I don't want to just do the same exact thing. I want to have weird interactions and get hot mics and steal stuff. And so it's a whole thing. Anyway, so I did that. The game's coming out on PS5 next week. I think early access even starts a little bit before that. So I'm excited to see the new player base. And I actually will probably be trying to find some new players and like encourage them, show them how to do stuff so that they can stay. And in a month, I can totally shit on them and steal other stuff. Like I want people to stay long enough to understand the game, to be having fun, and then steal from them. You know, you don't want to, if you steal from them their first day playing the game and totally destroy them with my 3,500 hours, they're not coming back. Man, so I want to avoid that.
Come on, man. That is what you should do.
The crapping on them thing?
Yeah, you just complained about how we went into X Defiant, how it was like sweats right away. Yeah. And so like now's your turn to be that.
But I hated that.
Yeah, but you're on the other side of the knife, buddy.
Yeah, but if they leave, then they won't be there. Like the question,
they're gonna come crawling back, just like we do with Call of Duty every single time.
Fighting his
I didn't.
He's going to be doing that eventually, Brandon. But he's
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I need them to do is to get to like level 25 in each of the factions, so they can get better quests, so that the loot I steal from them is better. I'm not saying I want them to win. I'm saying I don't want to steal the most worthless chests in the world from them on their first day playing the game.
Because I don't see any problem with crushing someone's spirit in a video game. I see nothing wrong with that.
Listen,
it happens to me all the time.
No, I agree. Justin Gonzalez, our dear friend Justin Guns, never pops into this chat.
Ever.
And I mention him. We mention him almost every week. And as I'm talking about Call of Duty or about Sea of Thieves, which he introduced me to, and he always calls me a terror in that game. He pops in and comments on me leaving the new players alone and says, doubt. There's a conspiracy. Did you message him, Brandon, and tell him come in here and shit on Ben?
I didn't, dude.
He's always there, and this was just
always there.
The perfect opportunity to come and slag you.
Yeah, it's fair enough. The other thing, about an hour and a half before the show started, I got an invitation to join I had signed up on Steam, like hit the button to do a playtest for Hades 2, and I did that like over 2 weeks ago or something. And like an hour and a half before the show, I got you're invited to, so I hopped in and checked it out. Man, I haven't played the original Hades in so long that I forgot how much I loved it. And Hades 2 seems to be just as much fun, if not have some better mechanics even. The combat is still very much the same. Of course, they only give you a very limited slice of the game. So I've only played, an hour and a half at this point. I did get through the slice they give you. It's like beating the first boss essentially, and you have to do that 5 or so times, I think. But some of the mechanics that they've introduced are really cool. I don't even really want to talk about what they are. There's probably people out there who have, or people who are streaming it or whatever. But there's new upgrade systems. There's a whole new storyline, of course. It's integrated with the other one, of course. But yeah, it's just really good. If you have the chance to sign up for the playtest and at least check it out, please do. It runs like a dream. I noticed only one little issue, and I'm not even sure if it was an issue or if I was doing something wrong. And the other thing is I already said that. The upgrade system is just like, it's a little more nuanced. Like there's some extra steps in there. And it seems like there's going to be a mining mechanic, a very small mining mechanic, but a mining mechanic and a farming mechanic to a very small extent. It's interesting. And you're just farming upgrades and stuff, upgrade materials, but it's really interesting. So I would encourage anybody to check it out. I think they'll be launching in the early access within the next few months. And I missed out getting Hades in early access, or the first Hades in an early access, but I will not miss out on getting Hades 2 in early access for sure. Because at this point, I trust them that they're going to do it. The standout thing is the music. Darren Korb with Supergiant Games, he's always been phenomenal. I'm not someone who listens to like video game soundtracks. I used to download all their soundtracks and just listen to it because I loved his music so much. And this game is no exception. And there's some wild songs in there so far. So I would encourage everybody to check it out if you get the opportunity. It's kind of, they have to pick you for the technical test right now, but as soon as it's available, if you like Hades 1 at all, you're just going to love Hades 2. That's really all I have to say about that. Mugetsu says, I can agree, Hades 2 is really fun so far. Played a good 2 hours of the technical test and looking forward to release. Yeah, it's shaping up to be great. Honestly, if you told me that was release ready, I'd believe you so far. So, and that's it. That's everything you guys have been playing. That's everything I've been playing.
That's it.
That's it. Don't forget, you can join us on patreon.com/handsomephantom for as little as $1 a month. Ad-free early access to the show. If you are on the audio files, if you're on video, you're either here right now or YouTube screwing you over with some ads, maybe. Who knows? Sorry. You can also hang out with us on Discord, handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate everybody there who hangs out and chats and talks, all that good stuff. Any final words, boys, before we get out of here? All right.
Rip Watch Dogs.
Rip Watch Dogs. Rip Watch Dogs. Rip Little Big Planet 3. Rip Embracer Group, maybe. We'll see.
Tip the wait staff.
Tip the wait staff. Tell them to sign up for the Patreon with your tips. All right. We're going to come up with a name and maybe chat for a second. We'll see. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Bye. Alrighty, boys. Dave, speaking of the... well, we'll talk about that later, actually. We'll talk about that later.
EmbraceLittleSoft?
Yes.
LittleSoft?
Yeah, dude. I did Little Big Planet at Ubisoft.
You just combined 3 companies' names into one thing, and that's the name?
He combined 3 topics into one. That's impressive.
So one word, EmbraceLittleSoft.
I don't know. It was off the cuff, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
It was good.
It really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
All right.
That's all you can hope for some nights.
Sometimes people make fun of me because I have a koozie on my water bottles.
Puppers.
Did you just call it a koozie?
Yeah, it's...
What do you call it?
What do you call it?
A cozy?
Well, that's because you're wrong.
A can koozie?
Koozie? I've never heard koozie.
Koozie.
Cozy.
Koozie.
Yeah, no.
Must be a Canadian thing.
It's funny because it's a pupper's cozy too.
Yeah. It's a...
Have you actually had the beer?
No, I got this at the Letterkenny show.
pretty good.
And I didn't buy it. I was like, oh, I should buy something, and I didn't. And then I walked outside, and this was just on the ground. And I like looked around. Nobody was looking for something on the ground, so I just kept it. Legendary. It was $12. I wasn't gonna buy it. I wasn't gonna buy a cozy. What? How did you say it?
Cozy.
I wasn't gonna buy a cozy for $12. Are you kidding me?
Doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that feel better? Cozy.
No, that's what you are when you're like wrapped up in your sweatpants in bed.
What do you think the can is? It's wrapped up. It's cozy.
No, it's not. I don't have a can in here. It's a water bottle. Didn't you hear the whole
your
point
water
of this?
bottle is cozy. It's not cozy.
Can cozy? That don't sound right.
Spell it. Spell the word you're trying to say.
I wouldn't be able to spell it even if I tried.
I thought it was COOZIE, isn't it?
Let me look it up.
COZ something.
Can koozie. Yeah, it's KOOZI.
No, that's marketing speak. It's cozy.
Dude,
only in Canada.
I'll die on this hill.
Is it koozie or
I wish you would,
C or with a K? It is a koozie, Dave. I'm telling you.
All of America disagrees with you.
Is a fabric or foam sleeve koozie? COOZI. Is anyone in chat going to back us up here?
Cozy. No
one's left. They all got tired of
100% of the audience is not backing you on this.
Jesus Christ. Only Radic, the Canadian. Yeah.
Only technically true. All right, let's get out of here. We're ending stream. Goodbye, everyone. David, you're throwing me off so badly being on the bottom. I hate it. Goodbye.